plots. We're starting in our notes journal. Our objective is 6.12a. I can discuss how to find the measures of spread on a box plot and interpret the data. So remember, we were doing measures of spread this past week, finding our quartiles, our median, etc. Example 1, Miss Winstanley asked her students how many bags of Takis they ate last week. Here's the data that I gathered from you guys. You can see that the numbers vary, so it is statistical data, and we're going to represent the data on a box plot. So now you need to get the piece of construction paper that I gave you. I'm going to move my screen up. Okay. This is where we're going to organize our data to find our measures of spread and build our box plot. So take the piece of paper, the construction paper, go ahead and fold it in half. And then fold it in half again, so we've made fourths. Okay. And we're going to order our data from least to greatest. So we need to see how many items do we have in our data set. So going back to the data I collected, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15 items, so we're going to put 15 spaces. And here's how I need you guys to do it. So on the middle crease where you first folded your paper in half, go ahead and put 1 space there. Go to the crease on the right-hand side, put another space. Go to the left-hand side on that crease and put another space. Okay. In between these two creases, we're going to put 3 more spaces, and then 3 more on the other side. Here's the same thing. I need 3 spaces in between, and then same thing on the left-hand side. So altogether, we should have 15. So count your spaces. Make sure you have 15 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're good to go. Okay. Going back to our data set. We know we have to do at least to greatest. Smallest number I see is the number 1. So I have 1, 2, make sure you cross off as you go to make sure we get all our numbers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Yes, I did go all the way from 1 to 15. And I did that intentionally. All right, now we're going to start by finding our median. So we're going to check off until we get to the middle number. Okay, so we found that our median is 8. I know we normally draw a square or circle our median, but today we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're actually going to draw a line down the middle to show that this is our median. Okay. And we also know that our median is known as quartile 2. Okay. Now we're going to find the median of the upper half of our data. So all the numbers to the right of our median. I'm going to check them off with a blue marker. One number in the middle, which is 12. So our median is 12. Okay, so I'm going to draw a number right down the middle. Okay, and this is my Q3. And we know that our Q3 is the median of upper half of data. Okay, now we're going to find our Q3, or the median of the lower half of our data. All the numbers to the left of our median, the lower data set. One number in the middle, which is 4. This is our Q1, quartile 1. And we know that our quartile 1 is the median of upper half of data, or lower half, excuse me. Median of lower half of data. Okay, so we've labeled our median, our quartile 1, and our quartile 3. Okay, now, in a box plot is drawn around our quartile values. So we have 3 quartile values, Q1, Q2, Q3, and we're going to draw a box around each. Okay, so this is quartile 1. You have your median, which is in the middle of your quartiles, and then quartile 3. Then we have whiskers that extend to our extreme values. Well, let's think about what our extreme values. It's just kind of a fancy way of saying your greatest number and your least number. So our greatest number is 15. So from our box, we're going to draw a whisker to go out to 15. And then our lowest value, or our lower extreme, is 1. So you're going to draw a whisker to go out to 1. Okay. So we call them box plots. We also call them box and whisker plots because you have your boxes and then you have your whiskers. Okay. Now, what do we know about quartiles? What did we say? We know quarters. When we're talking about quarters, we're talking about 25 cents or 1/4, and we know that 1/4 is equivalent to 25%. Okay. So if we wanted to analyze our data, we could say that our whisker from 1 to 4 shows 1/4 of our data. This box shows 1/4 of our data. This box also shows 1/4 of our data. And this whisker also shows 1/4 of our data. Okay, we split it into 4 pieces. So now representing the fourths. And then you guys know that 1/4 is equivalent to 25%. So each section would also be 25%. So we could represent it or just talk about it using percents and or fractions. Okay, so what does that mean? What if I wanted to interpret this? Well, I could say that 25% of my students ate between 4 to 8 bags of Takis, or 25% of my students ate from 12 to 15 bags of Takis, or they ate from 1 to 4 bags of Takis. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. We can take the data shown and we can tie it with percentages and or fractions to figure out where the greatest amount of our data. Where's the greatest amount of our, or where's 50% of our data here? Well, 50% would be from 4 to 12. So 50% of my students ate between 4 and 12 bags of Takis. Okay. One last thing we're going to add when we're talking about measures of spread. Okay, you guys know that you can take your extremes, your upper and your lower extremes, to find your range. And then we also use our quartiles to find our interquartile range, which is the difference between quartile 1 and quartile 3. Okay, so this box plot, it's pretty nice. See, everything's centered. We have 3 sets of data here. We have 3 sets of data here, 3 sets of data here, 3 sets of data here. So really, this is the perfect box plot because it's split up perfectly. Is it always going to look so nice? No, okay? You might not have perfect squares around your data sets, okay? You might have a smaller square. It's not always going to be perfectly divided, okay? Your median isn't always going to be right in the middle of your data set, okay? So we'll talk more about that in class. Go ahead and bring this to class with you, and we're going to look at some other examples together. I hope you guys have a great weekend.